Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Docker. It helps us to create, deploy and run applications by using containers. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Docker will be absolutely clear to you.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best and start today.
Okay, so the question someone has asked, could you please explain the Docker and its container management with any real-time example? See, whenever we learn something, we want to correlate our learning with the real-time example. But actually, you need to understand that we were doing the real-time only, all the time. We were not doing anything like a learning or something like that. We were doing the real-time only. Remember, you need to ask, before you get this question's answer for this, you need to ask why container? Why we are learning container? To run app. That's the objective. But with cheaper, faster. Correct? That was the objective. So this is a real time. You want to run any application. See here. When I say any application means any tools, any software. You want to run faster. Within a second, you want uptime. No download, no configuration, no installation, no this, no that. Only one command, Docker run image name. That's all. So you wanted to run. Earlier, where you were running this application? In physical machines, in a virtual machines. So you wanted to run. That's your run. That's a real-time example. For example, if I ask you, can you run 5 VMs? So will you ask me, like, can you give me the real-time example? No, because 5 VM is 5 VM. Inside that you will run something. So same way, container is a platform. That's what I'm saying, is a platform. You will use everywhere from now onwards. Everywhere. Now, everywhere means you can use container for your dev setup, development environment setup, for QA environment setup, production environment setup. Inside a container, what you will have? Applications. How you run? Docker run image name. That's all. So Docker in container management with a real-time example, I would say, set this thing in your mindset. Going forward, anything you run, you will run in container. That's the one thing. That's a real-time example. Every day you use it, that's the real time. Now you need a Jira, Docker run Jira. You need a SonarQube, Docker run SonarQube. You need Ubuntu, Docker run Ubuntu. You need a CentOS, Docker run CentOS. You need Jenkins, Docker run Jenkins. So that's a real time. Now for those images you need it, you can get it from home.docker.com if it is a public images. If it's your product images, you'll get it from your development team. Okay. So did you understand that what I'm trying to say here? Who has asked this question? Avinya. Did you understand that, Avinya? Okay. So now next thing is any Docker sample we have which is making Spring Boot app containerized one. I can give you the sample immediately, but before that I want to have an explanation. See, can you please close the door? So the question is, any Docker file sample we have which is making a Spring Boot app containerized one. So first thing, forget about the containerized one. Do you know Spring Boot? So let me write a step. See, pseudocode is very important. So how do you run Spring Boot? That's the question you should ask. How to run Spring Boot app. That's all. So if I see that pseudocode, first step I'll have an operating system. Okay. Then we will have JDK or JRE, whatever it is. Then we will install the Spring Boot framework, and then I will load the applications inside that. Correct? If you have a database, then you will have a database also. All this stuff. So this is the stuff. Now this is the manual stuff, okay? Which you've been doing from last 20 plus years, more than 30 years, I guess. Now we have to see containerized one. So here we will not have OS. We'll have a root file system. I told you so many times, so please remember. Then you will install JDK on that. Same thing now, same thing here. Now you have images for everything or one by one. Now this images Docker run Spring Boot application. That's all. So did you understand the pseudocode before me showing you some Docker file which is available freely at the site? Who has asked this question? Let me.
Yeah. Yes,
Now let me show you some. Guys, I have created one GitHub page, okay? And in that GitHub page, you will find hundreds of examples project. So if you really want to refer those, how can you go and get that? So let me show you that. That is my example, by the way, okay? So wherever I work, either I fork or I push that code there. So probably it will be good reference for all of you to try it out, okay? So let me just share with you blog. Oh, spelling mistake, sorry. And here, GitHub. And this is the DevOps Schools GitHub reference. This is my one. All this stuff, you will get it at one page. So all the sample programs. Okay. So here you have a notes, the one which you know already. This is the sample program. These are some of the projects. And this is a demo lab projects, assignments, and stuff like that. Okay. So now you want the Spring Boot, right? Let me search. You can look for in Google also, that's not a problem, but I'm looking for my repository because I know that I have few. So here it is. So these are the Spring Boot applications. Let me check it out. Do we have a Docker file for that also? Okay. So those hundreds of examples you'll get it. This has no Docker file. No Docker file. Here you have a Docker file. Okay. So this is a Docker Compose. This is not a Docker file. I will show you the Docker file. Let's say you go to this pet clinic service. This is one microservices. Okay. I can't see. Form. Let me check this. Build image, post, image. Okay. So they are not having any build. Let me check. No Docker file. I'm just checking out. Let's Google Docker file example. Okay, rather than Docker file Spring Boot. See here, this is a Mongo, Spring applications, database is Mongo, and here you have a Docker file. This is a Docker Compose only. We use the Docker Compose, but Docker file is called build option. So here you see build, we have a build. See here, build, Mongo init. So file name is Mongo init, okay? So go to the Mongo init, where is that? I can't locate it. Here it is, Mongo init. And here you have a Docker file. Here. So this is a, tell me, is it really very difficult? This is a one Docker file. So Docker file is very simple, not very difficult. Again, here you have a Docker file. See here, what they are doing. Look at this. Base image, they are taking OpenJDK. OpenJDK they have. That means in a simple way, I'll explain it to you. Just a second. In a simple way, if I explain it to you, root file system JDK, they got it. Okay. After that, they need a Spring Boot applications. So they are adding, see here, they are adding applications, Spring Boot applications. This is a Spring Boot jar file. They are adding. Okay. And then setting up the Java of some entry point, done. Entry point, I'll explain it to you. Pending for myself. Done. Running this. So this question was asked by Karthik. Did that answer your question, Karthik?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now this question.
Yeah, one more thing on that. Add target, right? So that Spring Boot is it's the jar which is available for globally. If I want to use some inbuilt jar, right? So where we have the target and Spring Boot, right? Where it goes and so forth.
See, this line means, I'll tell you. This line is adding a file which is in the host machine. This directory is in host machine. Target directory is in host machine. So if you take this up, in this directory, there will be one target directory. Okay. After the building. Now, what is a target directory? I don't know how many of you know that, but pom.xml, Maven create a target directory. Okay, those who are very close to Java and Maven, you know that they will create a target directory. So if you look at this code, I look at that as a developer. So I will build this code first, package, Maven package. Okay. So if I pom.xml, I build it, it will create a target directory, and inside that there will be one jar file. What they are doing, they are taking the jar file to build that image, because in the image you need application, right? So jar file is the applications here. So they will take the application, which is a Spring Boot application, jar file, from the target directory, from the host machine, and inside a container, it will copy app.jar. Now the question is, where this will copy? So guys, that is the question. So it will copy in the user home directory. User home directory. Now you must be wondering, what is the user home directory? Let me show you here. Maybe user home directory is set in this image, this baseline. Let me remind you, hub.docker.com Jenkins. Okay. You can set that user home directory in any images, and that will be carry forward, because remember, if the two layers get merged, if there is no conflict, upper layers win. If there is a conflict, upper layer wins. If there is no conflict, it carry forward. Okay. So here you see how to set the work directory. So let me show you here. DC, run, ARG. Here. See here, Jenkins home. So for this user, they are setting up the Jenkins home. If you look at the Jenkins home, here, this is the variable. So this is a customization. This is a customization what they are doing. But by default, for every user, there is a home. And that is what they are using it here. So in this case, whatever the user which OpenJDK is being used, they will copy in user home directory app.jar, and from there, see here, they are running. See here. They are running entry point, which I'll explain you right now. They are running in the root directory. That means root directory means this file will be copied in the root directory. That means in this image, the user is set with the root directory user home. Are you getting my point?
Okay. So he on continuous integration, right? In Jenkins, okay. So do we have plugin like for any Docker or how we do a continuous integration over there?
So for the continuous integration is much simpler. No, you have to just create a job which will call the Docker build command. That's all. The Docker build command you know very well. So what you will have, see here, you will have a Docker file in your source code, just like this. You will see in this file what you have. It's a developer job. I don't know how many of you are developer. So in the source code, you have a builder. This is your builder. This is your image, and this is a compose. So two files you will be having. You will check out the source code. If you want to build an image, Docker build. If you want to create a whole stack in a pre-production environment, testing environment, Docker compose up. Or if you want to build the software, form.xml, Maven build, Maven compile, Maven package, is that.
So currently, right, what we do, right, we do like a Maven only, like we install Git plugin in Jenkins and it downloads. Using execute shell, right, we will have a build server. Okay, in the build server, we will generate the jar and we will upload to the OneRT factory. The jar will be in OneRT
No,
factory.
sir. So here it will be changing now. Yeah, that's the same process you are following. That's a good process. But now you will not upload the jar. You will create an image and then upload to image to Artifactory. That's the only difference. Earlier, what you were doing, you were uploading jar and var to Artifactory. Not anymore. You will develop an image of it and then push that image to Artifactory. And people will not take the jar anymore because container technology will help you to save so much of time, right? So everyone will download that image which you have pushed it from the build server. Okay, so for that you need this guy.
Okay, so in the Docker file, finally we need to call that test image to the OneRT factory. So,
right. You have to push that. You did with the hub.docker.com, same thing you have to do with the Artifactory also. It's just the URL changes, that's all.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me read the questions. Okay. So this is done. Using a Docker file, how can we pass host machine environment directly? Dynamically. So when Docker file execute, it read the content of that. So guys, there are so many instructions are there. One of the instruction is add. Another one is copy. Yesterday we discussed actually. These two instructions will take the files from the host machine only. For example, I think I have that file right now. See here. I explained it to you. See here. Add. It will take this is the host machine location, okay? The place where we have Docker file copied. It will try to find out the target directory. Inside that, this file has to be there. And then this will be there inside a container, okay? So using add also you can do that, and using copy also do that. So add and copy. There's a slightly difference are there, but right now I'm not confusing with the too much of jargon. A copy will also work. Let me show you. See here. Copy. This is from the current location where the Docker file is there. And inside a container, it will be copy in this location. So these are the two instructions you can use for the Docker file to copy the content from the host machine and keep it in the container for the layering and the images forward. So,
Rajesh?
Yeah, Mangesh, is that answer your question?
So the question is actually, how can I pass the directory path as a parameter to the Docker file then? So that, because in the Docker file, we see hard-coded paths. Can I pass it dynamically from when I call the Docker file execute?
Can you reword this question, sir? So I'll answer the exact the things.
Sure.
Are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm typing the question, Rajesh.
Okay,
Just
okay.
a minute.
Okay.
Can we use Amazon image and build layer over that?
Why not? If image has a root file system, any images you can use.
Okay.
The question is, how can I pass path to the host machine of host machine directory to the Docker file rather than having hard-coded path in Docker file? Docker file build argument www. Any use cases which you are thinking right now to for this, where you have used it, this one?
So I can ship the Docker file to multiple teams to use it. But
Multiple?
multiple teams or different persons, they will run it from their own space. Right? They may not have the same directory structures as what I have.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, what you can do, there is a called context path. Okay, context path. Let me go to my notes. See here. Whenever you pass this one here, this dot I am providing it. From there, all these files and folder get loaded in the Docker context. So this path you can change it. Dot. This is the one. Dot. So this path you can have it in a different directory. From one place only. Let's say dev environment one directory structure, QA environment one directory. So here you can give it like this, dev QA like this. So this will be loaded. Dot means current directory. So this path while building up, the Docker file will remain same, but the context will change. Are you getting my points?
Yeah.
How to read in the Docker file in that case, the context?
See, Docker file will be read the place where you are running the command. If you feel that Docker file location is somewhere else, you give the -f and then full path here. Okay, and then this context from where that file should be copied, added, and stuff like that. So dot I am giving it because I want to copy some files from dot location inside a container. If you think the context path different, you can change this. This is called context path. Build context path.
Okay, so then manually we need to write the copy command inside the Docker file to copy the file.
Those will be there anyways as per the directory structure. Okay, last question is private example of Docker file. Guys, very simple. Example of Docker file you will find on the hub.docker.com. Any tools which is verified and published officially, any images, sorry, not tool, which you can see it. Let me log out and then show you. Here, every verified images, explore, click on explore, and every certified images and official images will have a Docker file. Okay, you will have a Docker file which is linked to the github.com. You can refer it as an example. For example, Couchbase. Click on it. You want to see, some of you might be using Couchbase. Click on this, it will take you to the Docker file, GitHub. So see here, this is a Docker file. That's all. This much of the Docker file. So they have same statement more or less, you see, from maintainer, run, arg, env, run, copy, run, And CMD entry point, I'll talk about it, which is pending topic. Expose and volume, more or less same you find it. There's no much of the instruction, hardly 15 instructions are there, and which is self-explanatory. So any images you just click, you will get the example of it. Now next question is, how do we work with the private repo? So this questions, how to work with private repo. Guys, understand that how it works. When you do Docker pull or Docker push or Docker login, Docker logout, Docker, when you do this one, these kind of activities, for this pull and push, login or logout, you need a registry. Okay, you need a registry. Correct? Against that registry, it will be pull, push, login, logout. Now, let's say, I'm sure you might have done Docker info. Everyone have done the Docker info?
Yes.
Yeah, in that there is a field called registry. What was the URL? Anyone would like to tell me what is the URL of it? What is the URL? And anyone would like to tell me what is the registry field? Anyone who's on lab right now? What is that?
hub.docker.com. Index.docker.in.
Docker dot index, right?
Yeah, index.docker.in.
Yeah. API address for hub. Right? This is your registry. So now what happens? Think about it. Very simple concept. Method 1. You do not want to change default registry, which is docker.com. Okay, hub.docker.com. In this case, what you will do? Scenario number 1. Docker pull Jenkins. This is a image name. What happens when you say Docker pull Jenkins? What happens actually? Okay, did you understand that now? Now, scenario number 2. You have Artifactory address, Artifactory image name, your private image name. So what we have, HTTP 4.5.6.7 8080, and your image is var x something. What will you do? You will not run docker pull var x. You will pull this one. Now, this is your real image path in the Artifactory. So what you will do? You will pull this one. You want to push? You will push this one. You want to log in? You will log in. This one. Now, did you understand that? Now, what is the difference between this and this? This is for public registry, private registry. Changes are only the URL. Again, condition, if you don't want to change the default registry, this is the way you can work. Did you understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's say you, method 2, you want to change the default registry. So the question is how? Very simple, configuration file. So Docker change default registry. Okay, so you have to modify the docker.json file. See here. This is the one which is the one way which I taught you just now, and you want to change the default registry itself. And for that, what you have to do is, here it is. Okay, so you have to add this entry in the daemon. It's not a complete tutorial. This is the one. There's many ways actually. This is one of the ways. Okay, this is one of the ways. So you will modify this docker.json file, add that docker opt in secure registry, and modify. Here, this is another way also. This is the way I do that. Daemon.json, I will create in the etc docker. I'll stop the docker, add this entry, registry mirrors. Instead of your hub.docker.com, I will say this one. This is your Artifactory address, and start the docker. So now next time onwards, you don't have to do full URL. Simple. So this is the pages which will help you. Did you understand that now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, this is the way you can work with the private registry. Now last thing, which is a demo on the hub.docker.com. So before showing the demo, I must tell you the steps one more time. It's not a very difficult step. I had written the pseudocode. I will repeat that. See here. First thing, you have to develop an image. Image name, image, how to develop using Docker file, you know that by now, I assume. So what you have to do in order to push that image? First thing, you have to register an account on hub.docker.com. It's a website like a GitHub. Now, how do you register? I'm not going to teach you because you know that how to register. Just email address, user ID and password, validate and this, that. After that login also, it's not very big thing. Now creating a repo. So you'll go and log in to your hub.docker.com and create a repo. Now public repo free of cost. Private repo one is allowed. I logged in, I create a repo. Now repo, I will create it. So yesterday I had created this repo. Where is that? Just a These are the repo I created. Remember, if you are official, if you have an account which is official, then this name, your ID will become as the repo name. But because we have the people from the community registered free of cost account, so we will not get a unique ID like a DevOps Schools or something. We will be always having the repo with some aliases like my ID is DevOps School / a repo name UB, UP, blah, blah, blah. So like that. So here, this is the empty repo I created. Now in this you have to do in the local. So make sure local repo of image, the image which you developed, and the remote repo name must match. Name has to match. How to match? So I use the one command which is called tag. See here. Tag to match this. So earlier I had this name, but I wanted to convert into this name. Simple. So I tagged it. I got the image. Finally, you log in. I was able to log in directly because I know that in the registry it's set hub.docker.com. If it is a different, then you will write HTTP, the IP address and blah, 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 and then push the repo. That's all. So this is the way it works. Now let me share with you the Artifactory tutorials also. So if you try, commands will remain same, explanation will remain same, everything will remain same. But for the references, I'm just sharing with you. Docker Artifactory. Okay. Any tutorials if you need in the future, try here. Probably you'll get it and probably it will help you also. Okay. So these are the search results which I have it. I'm sharing with you in the day 3 notes calling working with private repo. Okay, guys. Okay. So is that answer your question? Someone has asked this question.
Yeah, yes, Rajesh.
Okay. All this article is only for the things. Okay. Okay, guys. Any other questions? Now, my last topic for the day in the Docker is CMD versus entry point. This is the stuff which you have in the Docker file. So what is this? So guys, these questions no one has asked me. In fact, I was holding this question, so I will cover. How to, the question is, understand that, how to customize or change PID1. That's the question. Okay. Now, if you look at this, you have been using Ubuntu images. Let's go and check this. Docker Hub. What was that? Ubuntu, right? Yeah. This is the image you are using throughout this session. You use Jenkins also, and you can use any other images. Conceptually, it's the same. Okay. Now I would go inside the Docker file and see that latest. See here, this is the image of Docker, a Docker file of the image. Now see here, 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, 4 layer, 5 layer. Because of this, you have a 5 layer. Now you must be thinking, with so many lines. So image developer of Ubuntu, they played a trick. What they did, they created a 1 layer of the so many changes. You see that? I told you, right? This trick you can play also. Ampersand, 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 ampersand. They did so many things in a 1 layer itself. Okay. Now you see that, how do you know that Ubuntu has a bin bash as a PID1? Because of this line. See here. Because of this line, Ubuntu gets the PID1 bin bash. How do you know that Jenkins has a Ventini as a PID1? Let me show you. Docker Hub Jenkins. PID1 is very important, guys. It's conceptually very important. This reference of PID1 you might not get into Google. Okay. So this is something like which I experienced it, and I hard coded PID1. So you will also remember it. Computing conceptual explanation is little bit different actually. So here it is. See here, this is the image which you have referred. Now go to the end of it. See here. So now the question was how to customize or change the PID1, or you can also say how to set PID1, because remember, PID1 is running, so your container is running. PID1 is not running, your container is not running. In the Google keyword, you will write, you'll have to search how to set the container runtime environment. Okay, that is the keyword for searching in the Google. Okay, so now how to set the PID1? So guys, there are two ways. CMD one way and entry point another way. Now you must be wondering, okay, fine, I got to know we use CMD or entry point, but which one to use it and which one not to use it? That what is the difference between CMD versus entry point? That's the question. Guys, did you understand that so far?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So guys, understand that. So I need my machines to showcase the demo also, so you can visualize the changes. So let me start this instance. Okay. So now, if I look at the CMD, so see, initially, Docker introduced CMD to set PID1. That was the kind of things initially. Now PID1 means container runtime environment. But you know one thing which we had drawbacks in it. CMD can be replaced. That is a drawback. That means, let's say if you set CMD Java, anyone else is using your image, they can replace your CMD with something else. So CMD can be replaceable. That means it can be replaced without any problem. Now the question is, how can I see that whether it can be replaced or not? You all have experienced this knowingly, unknowingly from last 2 days. I don't know how many of you have noticed CMD was being replaced in case of Ubuntu. Ubuntu, see here. Again, I'll show you. Ubuntu has CMD, bin bash, and I was able to replace that bin bash with something else which I wanted during the runtime. So you, in a simple way, you created an application which is Ubuntu, but I made it something else. How? Let me show you that. So I need to access my VM, putty, CentOS, and I hope you can see it. So guys, this is the Docker images. See here. I have one image which is called Ubuntu. Where is that? Here it is. In Ubuntu, CMD PID1 is set with the CMD bin bash. So see here, if I do Docker PS, I'll just do clean up little bit. So you'll see the better demo. So let me remove all this container. Okay, so see here, Docker PS -a. I do not have any container. Okay, so now what I will do, see here guys, look at my screen here. Docker run Ubuntu. I don't care whether it's running or not. Forget about that. I just want to run that container. And you see Docker PS -a. Why it is exiting, that you know, I'm not getting into that part. But here, what do you have? Bin bash. Now bin bash is matching with this one, correct? So here PID1 was your bin bash. It got exited. You know that why it got exited. That's a different question. Now guys, can I change this bin bash to something else? Docker run Ubuntu ls. See, I did ls. I got the output also, and exit. Why it has happened, you know that. I'm not repeating. But you see here, did you understand that? I changed the behavior of container. Did you understand that?
What is the command we executed to show LSS PID1, Rajesh? Can you please show that?
What is that?
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, so here I can see someone has created a Ubuntu image. That runtime environment will be bin bash, but I could change it. I can make it ls. You want to change more? I will make it anything, whatever I want it. So that is the frustration which many image developer, application developer got it. They started feeling the pressure, saying that, boss, listen, I want to run Java, but someone is trying to use my image to do some other behavior. I don't want this behavior to be changed. If I said Java, no matter what happened, it should be running Java only. And you see here, I changed the behavior of this. Okay, so now if you start this container, see here, this container, it always run ls only. See, always run ls in the, see here, 2 seconds ago. It ran. It didn't give you the output because it was hidden. You have to attach to that to get the output. Run has attached behavior, you know that, I told you. So
if we save this image, right, then automatically the bin bash will be overridden by ls?
Yeah, if you convert into this container into the image, the bin bash will be written with ls. Yes, that's true. Got it? So guys, this is the one of the drawbacks which we have. So CMD can be replaced. So Docker introduced entry point. In entry point cannot be replaced. So now again I'll show you Jenkins image for your reference. Let's look at the Jenkins. See here. Jenkins image, you have always entry point, parameter 1, parameter 2. Okay. See here. Parameter 1, this is executable, parameter 1, parameter 2. Now can I look at this here? Docker run Jenkins. Oh, sorry. I have to -d because I don't want to lose my console. It'll get attached, right? So Docker ps. See here. Docker ps -a. See here. It's still Bintini. It's running. But ls or see here. Is it got changed? No. It got exited for some other reason. I'll tell you the reason. But you cannot change the behavior of containers at all. You cannot change the behavior of container at any cost. Now it got exited because ls become a parameter. See here. Bintini got parameter this one, and third parameter got appended with ls, which was an invalid parameter for Bintini. So Bintini got exited because of invalid parameter. But still, you could not change this one. Bintini could not change this one. So guys, did you understand that what is the major difference between the CMD and entry point? First thing, how to set the PID one? You have to use CMD or entry point. Which one to use it? If you want to be replaceable, CMD. If you don't want to make it replaceable, entry point. Did you understand that? If PID1 is running, your container is running. If PID1 is not running, your container is not running. Make sense, guys?
So what actually bin/tini, right? So that's a file or like what would be that?
Which one?
The bin/tini, right? So
It's the one executable to run this. See, what is a shell scripting behavior? What is a shell scripting behavior? Shell scripting will run and exit. If this will get exit, your container will get also exit. No, what they are doing, Bintini is one of the way to keep running shell scripting in the daemon mode. It will not get exit, and if this will not get exit, container will not get. So Bintini is one of the way Jenkins developer have used it to hold that session. That's all. If you want to know more about the Bintini, it's an open source product. You can go to the GitHub and read more about it. Okay, guys. So now, did you understand that?
even on the entry point, we can set the bin bash, right? So there can
Yeah, you can set it up anything. Yeah, anything you can set. Okay. So now questions. This is an assignment for you. Okay. An assignment is, first, before that, I will little bit commit this one. Just give me 2 seconds. Get status.
If you liked our Docker session so far, please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.